Hey guys, I'm just here with Graham, who finished the Develop It program with us and also the accumulator over the last 12 months. So Graham, do you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself and also how much you're planning on making from property at the moment?
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Adam. So my name's Graham. Obviously, I'm based in Perth. 39 years old. I've got a family, 3 boys and a wife, and property is what I enjoy. What was the other question?
How much are you going to make from property? We'll just get that one over.
So the goal for the 2023 calendar year was $1 million. Well, is $1 million.
Yeah, and you're on track to do that.
I am. I think what's today? We're still in July, and I've made 600, just over 600K, and that's just on flipping property. That's not including the equity uplift that I've got from the development that I'm doing at the moment.
Awesome. Sounds good. So what did you do before that? Because I know a lot of people are watching thinking, well, Adam, you can do a couple of $100 million, and Graham, you can make $1 million a year from property. How did you start? What did you start doing?
So I got into like sales, like selling homes and stuff like that in my sort of 25, 26. So I did that for nearly 10 years. So I was sort of in and around property. Obviously, I was selling house and land packages for builders and stuff like that. So I did a lot of that. I jumped out, I think it was about 2019, when I was sort of mid-30s. And I sort of decided, I took a couple of years out, I actually went away working up north in Perth in the mining industry, and wasn't doing hard work. I was in an office on my own most of the time. So I spent a lot of that time doing, study and did a couple of courses, and that obviously did your course. But I sort of just, realized that by investing in myself, that I would be able to, be a bit more creative with the deals that I did, rather than, you just standard buy hold strategy and stuff like that. I figured that, you can make, larger chunks of money through, flipping and development.
Yeah, awesome. So why did you join the program? You kind of touched on that. Why did you join my program? Because you have done other ones as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think obviously you start flipping property. That's kind of, before development. Obviously you can start with development, but I think when you're sort of starting out, flipping's maybe a little bit less risky, or not so much risky, but a little bit less to it, and get in and out of the deal and that quicker. And I think development's that natural progression. So for me, I basically did a year. I had a coach who obviously was helping with flipping houses, and did a course on that. And then once that year was out, I wanted to go into development, and I did a bit of research on different courses, and I think I saw you popping up on YouTube. So I obviously reached out to you guys and enrolled in your course.
Okay, so why did you, I suppose, choose me over someone else that says that they can teach you about development? If it's development, or if it's, you did the accumulator course as well, which is the buy and hold strategy.
Yeah. So I did both your courses. I did the development course first, and then I did the accumulator. And obviously did the group coaching with you for a year. But look, I think I just go with gut feel, to be honest. Like, I had a chat. No, that's just, to be honest. Like, I'm if I get the right feeling, then I'll make the leap of faith. I was obviously chatting with, is it Adele or Abel? What's his name?
Adele, yeah.
So I was chatting to him, and I think I grilled him like with heaps of questions and stuff like that. And he didn't close me the first call or anything like that. But after a couple of weeks, I think I committed.
Okay, so I gave you a good feeling. That's good to know.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I like to choose people that who are active to, in what they're doing. Like, there's a lot of people out there selling courses, but they're not doing deals themselves.
Yeah.
So you're doing deals, you're doing big stuff. So, you've gone through that journey. So I didn't want to be in a course with someone who used to do developments and now just sells courses. I wanted to be in a course with someone who's in the trenches at the moment.
Okay. So how did you find the course? I know you said before, I said, give me the good points and give me the bad points. What you like about the course and what didn't you like?
Yeah, I mean, your course is pretty thorough, and that's probably because you're an analytical person. You're an engineer. So typically those sorts of people put a bit of detail into their course. So that was probably something else that I liked and why I chose you as well. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I mean, yeah, I think that was, you're quite detailed with, when you talk about, feasibilities and stuff like that. You've got short term, quick feasos and long feasos, and it's just very structured. It's a 6 or 7 week course, and it's very structured. So you can you go from starting from the buying process all the way through. So it's a very good course for someone coming in without any experience and basically learning the process from start to finish.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. What about the bad points? What didn't you like about it? That it took 7 weeks and maybe longer?
No, I was pretty. I think I think I mentioned to you, like, sometimes you talk very big, which is not a negative, but because you're doing such big developments, when someone like me that's doing a triplex at the moment, and then I'm talking to you who's doing a 100 lot subdivision, it's kind of, there's a bit of difference, I suppose. But there wasn't anything that I didn't like about it. I really enjoyed the group coaching as well, like, because I'm an extrovert. I like that social interaction. So the weekly group coaching calls, there's normally, at least a dozen or so of us, if not more, on the call. So I like that sort of interaction and stuff like that. But there was nothing negative about the course that I would tell people to do the course. I wouldn't tell anyone not to do it because there was something wrong with the course.
Adversely wrong with it.
Yeah, there was something wrong with it. Yeah. So,
I mean, we do get asked, does it work? If I join the course in 12 months, am I going to make 100 grand or 200 grand or whatever? If somebody asked you that, what's your response to them?
well, you're only going to make money if you take action and put in the work. So, I mean, I've only done the one development deal, but I kind of didn't want to do more because I'm very active still with the flipping, but I wanted to dip my toes to do my first development. I didn't want to jump in and do, too many to start with. I just wanted to, and the first one, there's been quite a few learnings in that. It's come out pretty, it's gone quite well at the moment. So it's a 1 into 3 of retaining existing house and building 2 new homes. And I'm actually just going to retain the 3 properties as rentals because they'll be, good cash flow sort of thing. But have I gone off track with your question?
No. I want to ask you another question after this.
All right. So what was it? Yeah. So I've lost my train of thought.
Well, my other question anyway, we'll just leave it.
Yeah.
My other question was around doing the development and then retaining it. So I'd launched the accumulator course after the development program. So you've done both.
Yep.
Done the development one and then the accumulator. And we get asked a lot of the feedback is around, why do I need to do the accumulator, about, structuring or serviceability. I'll just go and talk to a broker, or I'll talk to my accountant, or I'll follow somebody else and they'll tell me where to buy property. You said you're keeping the 3 that you're doing in the development. I know you specifically asked me a question about that, like what
I did, yeah,
to put them into.
Yeah.
Is you keeping, if you didn't do the accumulator course off the back, would you be looking at keeping those properties or would you be looking at on selling them? And
I would be looking at keeping them, but so essentially, as you know, I've been flipping a lot of property. So I knew speaking to you, I need to retain more property, and the where the perk is in the property cycle at the moment, and those particular properties, I just feel that I'm going to get more growth by building and holding them and they're going to provide me good cash flow. Like I think I worked out, if I rent out all 3 once they're finished, it's going to be about $800 a week cash flow from those 3 properties, and rents are still rising as well. So for me, it made more sense to hold on to those 3 properties and then have them as long-term rentals. I've actually moved into the existing house while I build either side, but then once that development's finished, all 3 of them will become rentals. So, and I think I did ask you about structuring. I said, I've purchased them in a company, and should I be, what did I ask you? Should I put them in separate trusts? And obviously the conversation was that would be even though the account's saying, keep them all in one company, from a serviceability, having them in a separate trust is going to enable me to accumulate more property rather than, otherwise, buying capacity is going to be restricted by having them in the one company.
Yeah, so that one little tweak is worth the course fee.
Yeah,
times 7.
and obviously
That doesn't even include the capital growth in.
yeah, exactly. And obviously, I'm gonna have to fork out a little bit of the stamp duty on the, but I'm only going to be paying that on the land component anyway, so it's nothing significant. So from a long-term hold perspective, I think it makes a lot of sense to, yeah. My goal is obviously to accumulate more property as well, as we go. So hence why I did the accumulator course, but it's in the right area, the right location, the development where I want to hold property. A lot of the properties which I've been flipping are not in the area that I wanted to, hence why I haven't been holding them. So there, where I've been flipping is more lower socioeconomic, whereas this development is in a, certainly not a prestige area like that, but it's certainly in an area that has good room for growth, and it's surrounded by good suburbs.
Yes, sounds good. All those things about knowing the market cycles, knowing the areas, the good areas, the bad areas, and all those things. And I know you've done a lot more work outside of my courses as well on that, and you've been involved in real estate for some time. So I'm sure you learned a bit from my courses, but I'm sure there's other things you learned elsewhere as well. Which leads me to the final question. If somebody is considering doing this course, and I've been very similar to you, having done multiple people's programs and spent a lot of money on education, what would be your biggest advice around, or biggest takeaway from not just doing my course, but just getting educated just in general? Like, because a lot of people see it as a big expense, whether it be, $6,000, $20,000, whatever that course fee is.
Yeah.
Why did you invest whatever you invested, 80 grand, I think you told me?
Yeah. I think over the last couple of years, I've probably spent close to 80. I've done a few courses and had coaching, obviously. But yeah, I mean, without that, I wouldn't have made 600 grand this year and, 400 grand the year before. I would have still been earning 150 working away on the mine. So I think that answers the question.
So it was a good return on investment, basically.
Yeah, of course. So obviously, you don't know what you don't know. So, when you have coaches, you obviously learn from them. They've been there and done it. You've got to be selective with the coaches that you have, because, I'm sure there's bad courses out there and there's bad coaches out there. But if you get into the right communities and get the right coaching and mentors, then it just fast tracks you, and it prevents you from making mistakes, because, like a lot of people think, like a perfect example for a development, a lot of people think that if you buy a block of land and you cut it in half, that you make money. But they don't actually realize that, it's going to cost you $80,000 to subdivide it. And then there's, and by the time you do all that, then obviously it's, that you don't make any money, sort of thing. So, by doing courses, you understand how to do a feasibility. You have to, work out, what all your purchase costs, your holding costs, all your soft costs, hard costs, all that sort of stuff that, you go through in your feasos. And you actually, before you do the project, what your projected profit's going to be. So, yeah, I mean, it's like you trying to fix a car and you're not a mechanic.
Trying to operate on a patient as a doctor.
Exactly. You don't know what you're doing. You don't
need to cut the right cord.
Yeah. 100%. So by getting the education and doing, and it just opens up your eyes. Like a lot of people, one of the biggest learnings I had from getting into property deals was understanding that you can do it without your own money, and that you can use you can leverage other people's money partners and stuff like that, and it enables you to do like I think I'm up to 15 or 16 flips in the last 2 years, and I've never got funding from the bank. Like it's all been just money partners and stuff like that. So I actually, the development deal I've gone through, that was through a bank. But yeah, you don't know what you don't know, and by using other people's money and stuff like that, you can earn a lot more cash, and you can just basically fast track and get yourself out of having to work for somebody 9 to 5. I'm someone who's really driven by results, so I'm happy to work 70 hours a week if it's for me, and there's a goal in mind, and I'm like getting there. But if I have to work 20 hours a week for someone else, I just hate my life.
Yes, I can relate to that.
Yeah.
Oh, good on you. Great to hear from you. Really appreciate it. And I'm sure other people listening as well will have gotten a lot out of this conversation too. Graham, we'll love to see you on the next call, and we'll talk about and show us your deal, your development deal that you're doing, and also the flips that you're working on as well. Look forward to you hitting the $1 million in the next few months.
Sounds good. Thanks, mate.
Thank you.